Hello students, in this video lecture you will study towards chapter 2nd, that is solutions. Before knowing solution, first of all you know towards mixture. When two or more chemically non-reactive substances are mixed, they form mixture. Mixture may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. A heterogeneous mixture consists of distinct phase, that is, it is not uniform. Its component can be seen by naked eyes or with the help of device such as microscope. For example, mixture of sand and water. So there is two component. First is sand, second is water. Both can be differentiate distinguishable. So it is heterogeneous mixture. A homogeneous mixture of two or more component. The component should be non-reactive, whose composition can be varied within certain limit is termed as solution. The component of a solution cannot be separated by filtration. When the solution is composed of two components, it is termed as binary solution. So on the basis of number of components present in solution, solution may be binary, may be ternary, may be quaternary. So binary solution are such solution in which only two components, one solute and one solvent are present, known as binary solution. In the case of ternary solution, if three components present, called as ternary solution. Quaternary solution means such solution which containing four components in it. So finally, we may say a solution may be regarded as a single phase system containing more than one component. So here single phase system means in the solution only one component physically found to be identifiable. For example, solution of sugar in water. So after dissolution of sugar, only water is found to be visible but not the sugar. So here only one phase is there, but that also one phase is there but having two components, that is solute at the place of solute sugar and at the place of solvent, that is water. Now solute and solvent. The component which is found to be dissolved is known as solute, whereas the component of solution in which solute is found to be dissolved is called a solvent. For example, solution of sucrose in water. So sucrose is solute and water is solvent because sucrose dissolved in water. So sucrose is solute and solvent is water. A solvent in a solution is the component which has the same state of aggregation as that of the solution. Generally, the component present in greater amount is called as solvent. Now, type of solution. All the three state of matter may be behave either as a solvent or solute. So on the basis of physical state, the solution are of three type: solid solutions, liquid solution and gaseous solutions. Each physical state categorized into three type of solution. So total type of solution are of 9 type. In this chapter you have to study towards binary solution, means solution containing one kind of solute and one kind of solvent. So here in this table three type of solution are given on the basis of physical state. The solution are of three types: solid solutions, liquid solution and gaseous solution. Each kind of solution categorized into three parts. Therefore overall type of solution are of 9. So in the case of gaseous solution means the solution in which gas work as solvent. Solute may be gas, may be liquid, may be solid. For example, gas in gas. For example, gas in gas. At the place of gas, suppose solute we taking O2, and at the place of solvent, suppose the next gas is nitrogen. So mixture of different gases is known as the solution, gaseous solution, in which gas is dissolving in another gas. Second one, liquid in gas. Here liquid is solute and gas is solvent. For example, water vapor in air. So water vapor is solute and air is solvent. Next, gaseous solution is solid in gas. So here solid is solute and gas is solvent. For example, camphor vapor in air, dust particle in air, smoke, etc. Now liquid solution. Again liquid solution are of three types. Maybe gas dissolving liquid, maybe liquid dissolving liquid, maybe solid dissolving liquid. Third one is solid solution. Means such solution in which solid work as solvent. In that solvent maybe gas solute dissolve, maybe liquid solute dissolve, maybe solid solute dissolve. Out of the 9 type of solution, following 3 types in which a liquid act as solvent are very common, like gases in liquid, liquid in liquid, solid in liquid. Now type of solution on the basis of solvent. If, if solvent is water, then the solution is called as aqueous solution. If solvent is other than water, then the formed solution is known as non-aqueous solution. For example, solution of sodium chloride, that is common salt in water, is aqueous solution. Whereas suppose acetone dissolve in alcohol. So here alcohol is not water, it is other than water. Therefore, it will be non-aqueous solution. So the solution in which the solvent is water is known as aqueous solution, while solution in which solvent is other than water is known as non-aqueous solution. Common non-aqueous solution, common non-aqueous solvent are benzene, ether, alcohol, toluene, cyclohexane, carbon tetrachloride, etc. In liquid and in solid, molecules are held together by intermolecular attractions. These forces play a central role in the formation of solution. So the force of attraction present in the solute, present in solvent, present in solution are found to be attractive in nature, which is also known as interaction. So in the case of solid, solute particle interact to each other. In the case of solvent, the particle also interact to each other. In the case of solution, the particle of solute and solvent interact to each other. So in the case of solution, interaction, the solution formation depend upon the interaction between solute and solvent particles. These forces play a central role in formation of solution. When one substance, the solute, dissolve in another, that is in the solvent, particle of solute disperse throughout the solvent. The solute particle occupying position that are normally taken by solvent molecule. These the ease with the ease with which a solute particle replace a solvent molecule depend on the relative strength of 3 type of interaction. So interaction may be solvent-solvent, solute-solute, solvent-solute interaction. So before formation of solution, solute particle interact to each other called as solute-solute interaction. Solvent particle interact to each other means attract to each other called as solvent-solvent interaction. When the solute and solvent mix together, at that time the interaction is known as solute-solvent interaction or solvent-solute interaction. For simplicity, it can be considered that the solution process involves three steps. Step first is the separation of solvent molecule. Step second, separation of solute molecule. Step third, the solvent and solute molecule mix. This process may be exothermic or endothermic. So how to know that solution formation is exothermic in nature or endothermic in nature? So at that time, whatever the components present in the solution, at that time change in enthalpy of solution is found to be equal to the change in enthalpy of different component present in the solution. So when we add the change in enthalpy of different component of solution, then we get the value. If the value is negative, means less than 0, then the solution formation is exothermic in nature. If it is greater than 0, means the solution formation is endothermic in nature. If solute solvent attraction is stronger than solvent solvent attraction and solute solute attraction, the solution process is found to be exothermic in nature. If solute solvent interaction is weaker than solvent solvent and solute solute interaction, then the process is endothermic in nature. It means that when solute and solvent mix together, now in the solution, solute and solvent both are present. If force of attraction between them is less than the solute-solute interaction and solvent-solvent interaction, at that time the solution formation is found to be endothermic in nature. It looks rather strange why in the endothermic process the solute dissolve in a solvent. The solution process, like all other physical and chemical properties, is governed by two factors. First factor is energy factor, that is change in enthalpy of solution, and second factor is entropy factor, that is delta S of solution. Entropy means the randomness of the particle is known as entropy. The second factor, that is change in entropy, is an inherent tendency towards disorder. Therefore, the dissolution of a substance, that is solute, in a solvent is associated with a free energy change, that is delta G. Here delta G is change in Gibbs energy. If delta G is negative, the process is spontaneous, as you already know, and the substance dissolve. If delta G is positive, at that time the process is non-spontaneous and the substance does not dissolve, means solute unable to dissolve in solvent to form solution. In this way, change in Gibbs energy is equal to change in enthalpy of solution minus T into delta S. Here T is the temperature and delta S of solution, that is the change in entropy of the solution. T delta S solution measure the change in amount of molecular disorder or randomness in the system at the temperature T. Entropies of solution are usually positive because molecular randomness usually increase during dissolution. So here in the formula T delta S value is positive. So already negative. So T delta S final term is found to be negative. If delta H of the solution means change in enthalpy of the solution is less as compared to the value of T into delta S, at that time delta G is found to be negative, means process is found to be spontaneous, means the solution formation take place. A good rule often summarized in phrase like dissolve like dissolve like means if the solute and solvent belong from same category, maybe solute and solvent are found to be polar, maybe solute and solvent is found to be non-polar. So if solute and solvent are polar, like maybe polar, maybe solute is ionic and solvent is polar, so at that time this criteria is found to be with the like criteria. Maybe the solute and solvent are non-polar, like acetone and chloroform, so these are non-polar. So if the solute and solvent having non-polar nature or having polar nature, at that time this criteria is found to be like criteria, and in that situation we take the term like dissolve like. For example, sodium chloride easily dissolve in water, but the sodium chloride unable to dissolve in benzene, because sodium chloride that is ionic in nature, water that is polar in nature. So here interaction is found to be like. Therefore, sodium chloride easily dissolve in water. But when we take sodium chloride in chloroform or in any organic solvent, at that time organic solvent is non-polar and sodium chloride is ionic. Therefore, it is not like, and that one found to be unable to dissolve. Like here one example, solid like sodium chloride, as I explained, solid like sodium chloride dissolve in polar solvent like water because the strong ion dipole attraction between sodium and chloride, sodium ion and chloride ion, and polar water molecules are similar in magnitude. Therefore, sodium chloride dissolve in water, and the strong dipole attraction between water molecule, and to the strong ion attraction. Ion attraction means attraction between sodium cation and chloride anion. In the same way, non-polar compounds dissolve in non-polar solvent. Here non-polar compound means non-polar solute dissolve in non-polar solvent because of similar dispersion forces, that is also called as London forces, present among both kind of molecule. Now next topic is methods of expressing the concentration of a solution. Here term concentration. Concentration means the extent of solute dissolved in the particular solvent, or in other words we can say that the extent of solute present in the particular solution is known as concentration. So there are different kind of the expression of the concentration, which may be percentage concentration, maybe concentration in term of parts per million, maybe concentration in term of mole fraction, maybe in term of molarity, maybe in term of molality, maybe in term of formality, maybe in term of normality. So there are different kind of the expression by which we deal the concentration of solution, means the extent of solute present in particular solution or the extent of solute dissolved in the particular solvent. So first one is percentage concentration. Percentage concentration categorized into three parts. First one is mass percent or percent by mass. By the name clear that when the solute and solvent both are taken in term of mass, means in term of gram, then at that time percentage concentration is known as percent by mass concentration. In this way, the amount of solute in gram present in 100 grams of solution is known as concentration, that is percent by mass concentration. In this way, we may write the formula percentage concentration by mass is equal to mass of solute upon mass of solution into 100. The percent by mass concentration can also be written as mass of solute upon mass of solution. At the place of mass of solution, we may write mass of solute plus mass of solvent. Since here we calculating percentage, therefore multiply by 100. Now next is percent by volume. In this situation, the volume of solute and volume of solvent given. Volume of solute we take in term of ml and volume of solution also we take in ml. Therefore, the volume of solute in ml present in 100 ml of solution is known as percent by volume concentration. In this way, percent of solute by volume is equal to volume of solute upon volume of solution multiply by 100. At the place of volume of solution, we may take volume of solute plus volume of solvent. If volume of solute is A and volume of, let there are two components A and B in the solution. Volume of this component VA and VB respectively, at that time volume percent of component A will be equal to volume of A upon volume of A plus volume of B into 100. Similarly, we may find volume percent of component B. So at that time it will be VB upon VB plus VA into 100. So we may find the percent of any component present in the solution. Now third is percent by mass, percent mass by volume concentration. It can be defined as the mass of solute present in 100 ml of solution. Remember, such kind of percentage concentration basically taken in pharmaceuticals, that is in the also in the analytical chemistry. So percent of solute by mass, percent of solute mass by volume is equal to mass of solute upon volume of solution multiply by 100. Next type of the concentration expression is parts per million, that is ppm. This type of concentration is taken at that time when the extent of solute is found to be very less amount, that is in the trace quantity. At that time this concentration is taken. So when the solute is present in trace quantity, it is convenient to express the concentration parts per million. The quantity of the solute in gram present in 10 to the power 6 gram of solution. So here parts per million, 1 million is equal to 10 lakh, that is 10 to the power 6. Therefore, ppm concentration is equal to mass of solute upon mass of solution. So here mass of solute generally we take in gram and mass of solution also in gram. Since it is the ppm concentration, therefore multiply by 10 to the power 6. So in short we can say that in the case of percent concentration, we take the in the case of percent concentration, we take the extent of solute upon extent of solution multiply by 100. But in the case of parts per million, we take the extent of solute upon extent of solution multiplied by 10 to the power 6. So this is the basic difference between percent concentration and ppm concentration. Atmospheric pollution in cities is also expressed in ppm by volume. It refers to the volume of pollutant in 10 power 6 unit of the volume. 10 ppm SO2 in air means 10 ml of sulfur dioxide is present in 10 to the power 6 ml of air. Similarly, we may also find out the extent of hardness present in the water in terms of ppm. Next is mole fraction. By the name clear that fraction, that is less than 1. So here we take the ratio in the mole fraction, we take the ratio of number of moles of any one component of the solution to the total component of solution. In this way, mole fraction can be defined as the ratio of number of moles of one component to the total number of moles of the solution, that is all the component. For example, here three components are given A, B, C. Mass of component A is W1 gram, component B is W2 gram, component C is W3 gram. Molar mass of A is M1, B is M2 and C is M3. To find out number of moles, as we know that if the mass is given, then number of moles is equal to given mass in gram upon molar mass. So for component A, number of moles will be W1 upon M1. For component B, W2 upon M2. For component C, number of moles will be W3 upon M3. So if we want to find out the mole fraction of any one component, so we have to take that component in the numerator and total component in the denominator. In this way, we can find mole fraction of particular component. So here, suppose you want to find out mole fraction of component A. So the mole fraction of component A will be equal to number of moles of component A, that is W1 upon M1 upon total component, means number of moles of component A plus number of moles of component B plus number of moles of component C. So in this way we may find out mole fraction of any one component. For the binary solution, only two components present in that one. So at that time, suppose you want to find out the mole fraction of solvent, that is XA. So it will be equal to number of moles of solvent upon number of moles of solvent Na plus number of moles of solute Nb. Number of moles of solute Nb. Nb. Similarly, in the case of solute solvent, we may find the number of mole fraction of solvent. It will be equal to number of moles of solvent Na upon number of moles of solvent plus number of moles of solute. Remember, we take the term 1 or A for solvent and B or 2 for the solute. Therefore, mole fraction of solute will be equal to number of moles of solute upon number of moles of solvent plus number of moles of solute. Finally, whatever the component present in the solution that mix to form only one solution. In this way, if we add the mole fractions of total component present in the solution, then we get the answer 1. So for the binary solution, mole fraction of solvent plus mole fraction of solute is equal to 1. So in this way, if we know the mole fraction of any one component, then we may achieve the mole fraction of next component. Mole fraction is independent of temperature because it is independent of volume. It depends upon mass of solvent and the mass of solute only. Mass of component in the solution does not change with change in temperature. Next expression is molality. The term molality is taken for the solute number of moles of solute dissolved in the per kilogram of solvent is known as molality. Molality, the term molality is written in small coded as small m, which is equal to number of moles of solute upon number of kilogram of solvent. So in short we may say that the number of moles of solute dissolved in 1 kilogram of, that is 1000 gram of solvent, is known as molality, that is concentration in term of molality. If the mass of solvent in gram at that time, molality will be equal to number of moles of solute upon mass of solvent in gram multiplied by 100 in the numerator. Number of moles of solute upon mass of solvent in gram multiplied by 1000, because in the definition of molality, the number of moles of solute dissolved in per kilogram means 1 kilogram of solvent is known as molality. Therefore, if the mass of solvent in given in gram, we have to convert this one into kilogram. Therefore, divide by 1000. So, on solving, we get the equation for molality: the number of moles of solute upon mass of solvent in gram multiplied by 1000. Now molality we may also write inside the molality, we may also write molality is equal to NB upon WA multiplied by 1000. So here NB is the number of moles of solute, WA is the mass of solvent in gram, here 1000. If the mass of solvent in kilogram, at that time no need to take 1000 in the numerator. It is only at that time when we take the mass of solvent in gram, at that time we need to take 1000 in the numerator. So in short we can say the molality is equal to NB upon WA in kilogram. As we know that if the mass is given, at that time number of moles we may calculate the number of moles by taking mass upon molar mass. So this ratio when we take, we get number of moles of particular component. We may correlate solubility and molality. Molality is equal to solubility into 10 upon molar mass of solute. Because solubility is equal to mass of solute in gram upon mass of solvent in gram multiplied by 100.